Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to today's episode of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys making some time to spend with me and watch the video. Always very thankful for that. Guys, today I'm going to give you my top 3 picks for May lures. Going to go over, my 3 favorite lures for fishing in the month of May and give you guys some tips and advice on the conditions they work in. May is a really good month to fish. There's a lot of stuff going on and there's a lot of different ways to catch fish. It can be pretty intimidating. So I'll give you 3 that definitely work and have been working for many, many years for me in today's video. Also guys, just a quick invitation out there. If you haven't had a chance to, please hit the subscribe button here to Intuitive Angling. Right now, we've only got like 40% of the people that watch the videos that are subscribed to the channel. Hitting that subscribe button is a good way to support the channel, and it's free and easy and much appreciated there. Okay guys, there's a lot going on in May. May, depending upon the part of country you live in, some of the fish are not spawned yet, some of them are spawning, some of them are done spawning, some of them may even be in the early summer pattern. So geographically, the patterns and the things that are going on in May vary all over the board. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 different techniques that seem to work universally, pretty much all across the country during the month of May. We're going to talk a little bit about how to, fully take advantage of that. And also, guys, all 3 of these lures I'm talking about, I'll link them in the description of the video through my Tackle Warehouse link. And if you guys would like to try some of them out, using that link is a good way to support the channel. So much appreciated on that. Okay, guys, the first one of my favorite lures in the month of May is a Swimjig. Swimjig is, in my opinion, May is the best month of the year to fish swimjigs, simply because of how the fish are positioned and their mood and their personality. Now, the places that first of all, before I get into the actual bait here, the places I fish a swimjig are the same type of areas where the fish you think they've spawned in. So if you got some flat spawning coves or flats or whatever that you're fishing, these are the same type of areas that you want to fish a swimjig in. Those spawning type areas or the very early post-spawn areas. And the swimjig that I use, this is the Megabass Ouzo Swimmer. It's a 3/16 ounce. And guys, I like a 3/16, a really light swimjig during the month of May because these fish are normally super, super shallow. And a 3/16 ounce, you can sort of float it and fish it slower than you can a heavier one. And I've got it coupled up with a Zoom Z-Craw Junior trailer on it. Nice little swimjig trailer. By far my favorite swimjig trailer out there. And in the month of May, I also do like some type of a shad pattern. Now, as it gets towards the summer, like June and July, I'll use a bluegill pattern because the fish feed on bluegills, but the fish are feeding on shad in May quite a bit. So the shad pattern is my favorite color with that. Now, first of all, the reason that the light one works better is, like I said, most of the time these fish are shallow. Most of the time I'm fishing it in stained water. The ideal swimjig water color is anywhere between, say, 1 to 2 foot visibility. And what I'll do is I'll put this little 3/16 ounce Ouzo Swimmer like on 17-pound test Seaguard and Vizex line, fish it on my flipping stick, even though it's a light bait, because I can pitch it and flip it around tight little spots along the bank. And I'll just throw it out there, pitch it out there or throw it out there. And I just sort of shake it like that with my rod tip high. And by shaking it, you can fish it real slow because the head's so light, and it just sort of floats and undulates through the top of the water like that. Really, really subtle presentation, and you can catch big ones on it. Even though it's a small profile jig, big ones will definitely hit it, but you can't go wrong with the Swimjig in the month of May with that. Second one, guys, is a walking topwater. Like a Xeraspook, this is the Megabass Diamante. Walking topwater, just like the Swimjig, I think May is the best month to throw a walking topwater under the right situations. Now, the best scenario for a walking topwater is when you have clear water visibility of, I like it at least 3.5 foot visibility. Ideally, I like it between 4 to 6 foot clarity for the most part for a walking topwater. But this is a great post-spawn lure, which, if the fish are done spawning in May, you can't hardly beat a walking topwater in May. And what I like to do is I like to fish this on those areas where I feel the bass are going to recuperate after they've done spawning. So my number one place to fish a walking topwater in May is on a secondary point close to a spawning area. So say, for example, you're back in a major creek arm and you've been catching fish, the fish have been spawning up in a shallow cove off this major creek arm. If you pull out to like the point of that cove, like the secondary point on the cove, and just fan cast these walking topwaters all over those points, that's a great way to catch them. especially if you got a mixed species lake. If you got a lake that has some type of diversity like spotted bass, largemouth, smallmouth, there's a lot of those fish that move out to those secondary points. And if that clear water is present, they'll come up out of a lot of different depth ranges. Normally early and late in the day, I'll fish it right up on the bank, or if it's cloudy or rainy. And up in the day a little bit later, even if it's bright or sunny, I'll get out there like in 15, 20, 25 foot of water and just fan cast this walking topwater all over the point. Even in 20 foot of water and in clear water, those fish will come up off the bottom to hit that thing. Another good way to catch them on it, guys, is on bluff banks. Those fish, a lot of times they like to go out to bluffs after they get done spawning. Just making long casts parallel down the bluff banks on some shady banks, good way to catch them. And finally, guys, the third lure is just the old school tube. Guys, the tube is my #1 flipping bait in the month of May. There's something about, again, the stage and the mood and the personality of the fish. They don't really like big honking baits. They don't really like flipping jigs, big full-size creature baits. I catch a bunch of fish flipping and pitching in the month of May on a tube with a light sinker. Most of the time, I'm using an 1/8 ounce, no more than a 3/16. I usually don't peg it, and I flip it and pitch it just around whatever shallow cover is available. Sort of like the same places that I'm fishing the swim jig in, but let's say, for example, if I'm fishing a swim jig just down a bare bank, or maybe there's some grass or pads or something like that, I'll go down the tube and I'll flip the tube on whatever shallow wood or rock cover is there. Lay down trees, stumps, if there's a dock there, maybe lily pad stems, grass even, something like that. But flipping and pitching this tube is a great way to catch them in May, especially if you got high water, which we do like here in Missouri now. High water flipping in bushes is going to be a great way to catch them. They love a tube flipping in flooded bushes. And that's the thing about it in May, guys. You got a lot of different things as far as conditional things going on, because in May, the water can fluctuate quite a bit. For example, here in Missouri, we got flooded out this past week, and all of our lakes are going to be coming up on the rise right now. So we're going to have a lot of flooded cover in the water. So therefore, like the swim jig, flipping the tube is going to be really good. But under a normal situation, if that water hadn't come out, maybe the walking topwater up on those clear water points would have been better. But anyway, this is the 3 I would suggest. Walking topwater, tube, swim jig. There's always going to be some place in the lake where they're going to bite these 3. Again, I'll link everything in the Tackle Warehouse link in the description, and hope you guys catch a bunch this month. We'll talk later.